and they're working a program to not be back, to get out of that situation, essentially.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
So you can look at me if you don't need to look at the
Okay,
camera. So can I say your name and your job and kind of what you do here?
Okay, Michael Hilliary. I'm the director of operations here.
Okay.
I do everything.
Everything. Nice. And then kind of like just what you were saying, like what is it that y'all like provide on a day-to-day basis?
Okay.
Mostly food?
First and foremost, I wouldn't say mostly food. I think it's pretty balanced, but we got our start
Gotcha.
by feeding people first. And so that's what we start with. That's the center of what we do, is feed people. We feed people breakfast. We feed, breakfast is at 8, and then we feed people lunch at 11. And then we feed people a snack pack, which is a to-go lunch, at about 3.
Okay.
So they can take that with them. We also have the Share Center right next door,
Gotcha.
which is a beautiful new facility, and it basically helps people avoid becoming homeless.
Okay.
Avoid having to make that choice between paying rent and buying some groceries. Once a month, people from our community can come shop at the Share Center.
Oh, okay. Wow.
You know, it's a beautiful thing. And then we have the McCown Village, which is all these little cottages around here, 16 family units, 16 single units. And essentially, in order to qualify, you have to be homeless, and you have to be willing to work with a case manager to do the things that you need to do to not be back in this situation, to empower your future.
Okay.
So if people are willing to do that, you know, we try to get them in one of the cottages if we can. And then on top of that, we have a friend's house, so that's our night shelter, and thankfully that's been extended by our city council. But we on a nightly basis, I think the number is like 52 that we house there. And then they have to leave at 7 in the morning, so a lot of them, well, some of them will go off to their jobs or go off to, you know, whatever resources they need to be getting them lined up for that day. And then some of them will just come here, have breakfast,
Right.
and, you know, like, because we have a bunch of people that are handicapped and don't have a lot of mobility. So thank goodness for caravans. Have you ever interacted with caravans?
Yes.
Beautiful program. They help people get here, and then we feed them, take care of them. They can take a shower. They can wash their clothes. You know, and then they can get resources from us. So people donate things to us, like toothbrushes, deodorant, all kinds of things. You know, blankets, backpacks, and we just give them directly to the people that come here.
Awesome. How'd you get involved in something like this?
So I do charity events in Norman, and I have for years. I run something called the Summit, which is run out of the Midway Deli, and once a month raise money for different organizations. I pick a feature picks the organization, 100% of that goes to the organization, and I give them a platform to come talk. So that's how I got introduced to Food and Shelter. They got picked.
Yeah.
And then they got picked, and then they got picked, and then they got picked. And when an organization gets picked that much, you know they're doing something great.
Yeah. Beyond just Food and Shelter, I'm sure that like drug addiction plays kind of a large part in like people being homeless, being on the streets. What kind of care do you provide for things of that nature?
So
If any.
it can, but that's not the exclusive reason. It's really a housing problem.
Okay. So it's mostly like financial that you see.
100%.
Right.
I mean, there's certainly people that have chosen drugs.
Yes.
You know, there's certainly people out here that have chosen drugs. But there's also a lot of people out here that got evicted from their home, that got a divorce and didn't have a place to stay, that lost their job and didn't know what to do, that just didn't ever have any life skills. They didn't know how to balance their checkbook, do all these things that set you up for success in the real world. So to reach them, we just need to provide information and a pathway, right?
Right.
With drug addiction, we connect people with resources in the area, and sometimes out of the area. Sometimes like there'll be a rehab in Tulsa or what have you, you know, and you know, if possible, we'll in conference with their case manager, direct them towards that. A lot of people go into treatment from there. One thing I did leave out is we also are trying to be a part of the housing solution.
Right.
So we buy up cheap property.
Oh, okay.
We own the Tuscany Court Apartments, and we keep it cheap.
Gotcha.
We're not trying to profit there.
Yeah.
You know, it's 2-bedroom apartments, 625, staying that way.
Right.
You know, so that's the solution.
In addition, a part of my research is dealing with like veterans. How often do you come across people who have served in the military before?
I would say there's quite a few veterans here. I mean, and a lot of them, like, we don't particularly like handle their, because they have a path, you know, they have the VA. But what we do is offer office space to the VA.
Oh, okay.
They can come over to our share center and meet with veterans,
Gotcha.
help set them up. And then we also offer people pathways towards, if they don't understand that they have that resource, offer pathways to it.
Alrighty. And then that's all I needed. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Turn this